Family, friends, yeah, this video is for you. This video is for people who ain't even met me yet, right? Maybe we're gonna be friends in the future, or maybe we'll never meet in the physical, but don't worry, because we connecting through this video. And this video is about purchasing a house. You need to buy a house. Yes, if you don't got a house, you need to buy a house. And guess what? If you got a house, you need to buy another house, right? And we'll get into that. But this video is about buying your first home. You need to purchase one property. You need to get one under your belt. So why are you telling me that I need to buy a house? This is the question you asking me. Why are you telling me? Why I want to know, why are you an advocate, right? Why are you advocating for home purchasing? Do you got your realtor's license all of a sudden? I'm not a realtor, unfortunately. If I could be one, I probably would be one. But in all essence, you don't even need to be a real estate agent to deal with real estate, right? If you look and research, probably to the date of this writing, and whenever it is that you watching this video, you Google who owned the most real estate, it ain't a real estate agent. Ain't a real estate agent, because you don't have to be an agent. You just got to have the information. You got to know why. And this is what you asked me. So I'm going to answer this question as best I can. One of the reasons you should buy a house is because it is an asset, right? It's actually an asset that you could live in, right? It's not like a car, because a car can be an asset, but theoretically, in order for it to be an asset, you would not have to drive it, right? You couldn't drive it. Like, that's the only way your car 20 years from now is going to be considered a classic, right? Because if you put all of the miles on that joint and you beating it down, it ain't going to have original parts. It's not going to have the same value that a home will have, right? So this is what I love about home ownership, is because you get to own an asset and you get to live in it if you need to live in it. You could be like me. I own a house in Massachusetts, live in Georgia. You know, you could do whatever you want to do, however it works for you. But I know one thing for certain. No matter where I go on this planet Earth, I'm always gonna have a place to stay. That's beautiful. That's why you need to own a house. At least that's a few reasons why you need to own a house, right? Because it's an asset, and we want assets, right? Mercedes-Benz is cool, but listen, man. Listen, a house is even better. Yeah, it's gonna stand the test of time. Another reason why you should buy a house is because you only need to put down 3.5%. It's not as expensive as you think. It's not. You think about it. You got $100,000 house. You like, dang, I ain't got 100K. I ain't got 100 G's. Guess what? I don't have 100 G's neither. But there's a thing called a FHA loan, right? And there's a whole bunch of other loans. I'm going to break down a few of them, but realistically, with an FHA loan, you only need 3.5%. That means for every $100,000 the property costs, you only need $3,500 to put down. You can't tell me you ain't got $3,500. Your car costs $10,000 or $7,000. That's twice as much, 3 times as much. So you can't tell me that you don't have it. You can open up your closet. I'm pretty sure you got some nice things, with names that aren't your names, right? That are expensive. That designer, I'm pretty sure $3,500 easy. Those sneakers, those shoes. Yeah, sis. I know you got some fire shoes that if you put them together, they equal $3,500. So you can't tell me that you don't have enough money to buy a $100,000 house. You can't tell me you don't have $7,000 to put down towards a $200,000 house. Right? So that's another reason why I'm advocating for it. Yeah, I'm not a real estate agent, but I'm advocating for these reasons. Now you see why I don't have to be an agent to tell you that you should get a house. Come on, you could get a $400,000 house for $14,000 out of your pocket. That's a beautiful thing, because there's a thing called closing costs. Don't get it twisted. I know some of you have a little bit more information than others, and you're like, oh, you got to pay for closing costs. Whoa. Sometimes you don't have to pay for closing costs. I didn't have to pay for closing costs, right? I got my $130,000 house for $5,600. I didn't pay no closing costs. You know why? Because I was like, I got approved for $150. The house I purchased was only $130. I told the person who owned the house, they really only wanted $124. I said, listen, just charge me $130. You pay for the closing costs. Why? Because now I took that $6,000 that I would have paid, I put it in the same pot that my mortgage is in, right? So now that $6,000 just got divided by 30 years. It's in my mortgage. Why pay up front when I could? So you only need the 3.5%. Yeah, not to mention with an FHA loan, you could get a multi-family, right? You could do exactly what I did. Get you more than one unit. Yeah, rent out one of the units. And as long as that one unit pays enough to pay the mortgage, you never have to pay nothing. I've only spent $5,600 on my house. I've always had at least one tenant that paid enough to pay the mortgage. Right? So you could get a home for free. You could stay in your apartment. I know your apartment's nice, right? You got a little townhouse downtown that you don't own, somebody else own. You and your landlord, y'all cool, right? I know y'all cool. Or you live in a nice neighborhood where everybody, like you because you go jogging, you got your six pack out, right? But guess what? You're not living for free. Guess who is living for free? Joe. I'm living for free, and you could be living for free too. You see why you should get a house? Yeah, so FHA loans ain't the only loans. Now, mind you, FHA is just like the most common. That's just, for common folk like you and me. But let's say, for instance, you are a part of the Navy, or you were. You don't gotta be now. You were part of the Navy. Let's say, you was in the Army, right? Let's say in some way, shape, or form, you was a part of the military, the Air Force, anything. Guess what? They got things called a VA loan. You ain't got to put no money down.
Now, I'm not suggesting that you join any of these. I don't want you to join the Army, the Navy, none of that. I'm not saying join it. But
if you already did before you seen this video, you don't even have to put no money down. I came out of my pocket $5,600. You don't even have to come out of your pocket $5,600. You could get it just on the strength because you're a veteran, and we salute you. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, this country has things in place that are beneficial to you or somebody that was in the Army or was in the Navy or the Air Force. So these are reasons why you should purchase a house, because it really doesn't cost as much as you think it costs, and it's beneficial. There's other loans. There's NACA loans. You don't got to put no money down. And there's a whole bunch of other. I'm not going to go through each loan. Maybe I'll do separate videos, and I'll put the link underneath. But the point that I'm trying to make is that it don't cost that much. It don't cost that much to own a house. It don't cost that much to make money off a house. I put $5,600. I got 2 tenants that pay me in excess of what I'm supposed to pay to my mortgage. So I'm lit. You could be lit too. I want you to be lit too, right? We could be lit. Now, another thing which I spoke on a little bit earlier is appreciation. I was talking about having an asset and how it could be worth more in the future, right? That's called appreciation, right? Now, I'm just going to use myself as an example. To the date of this writing, I told you that $130,000 house that I purchased, when I purchased it 7 years ago, maybe 8 years, about 7 years ago, 7.5. $130,000 was how much it was worth when I bought it. It's now worth $285,000 if I wanted to sell it, right? So let's put in a little discount. Let's say if it was only $230,000. Let's give a whole $55,000 discount. Even if I gave you a $55,000 discount, I could sell my house right now and still make $100,000, and I only put down $5,600. Yeah, is it clicking? Is that light bulb going off? You should own a house. Ain't no telling. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that when you buy a house 7 years from the day you buy it, your joint gonna go up $150,000 too. But it is possible, right? I know the red bottoms that you got in your closet, they ain't going up 150. Yeah, that designer you got. Yeah, that car you got. What you got, Lex? What you got, Benz? Yeah, what you got, the truck? What you got, the new Honda Accord? It's not going up 150K. And you pay more than $5,600 for it. Do you see where I'm going with this? It's a necessity. I spoke about how you could pass it down to your kids. So imagine this. You can purchase a house and have a tenant and live rent-free for the rest of your life, right? Then, when you dead and gone, the house is passed down to the children, and now they can live rent-free. So, essentially, you can purchase this house, and everybody that comes after you can live rent-free. So, what I just broke down to you is reasons why you should buy a house. You should buy a house because you can use it as an asset. You should buy a house because you go from no longer paying rent, right? You can live rent-free. And in addition to living rent-free, you also can make money, right? I explained to you how I always keep a tenant that pays my mortgage. Therefore, everything else that I make extra is profit, right? So you can profit. You can actually make money from a house. you can get a house with almost no money down, and depending on if you're a veteran or you go through NACA or any type of other program, you can get it for free, right? So whatever you're paying right now in monthly rent, you potentially could be paying the same or less. And guess what? The price of your mortgage is never going to change, right? It's only going to change if you decide to refinance, right? Or if you decide to sell and go get another house. So you lock in basically your rent. You get to lock in your rent. You get to live for free. And when you die, your kids get to live for free, right? If you wanted to, you could make money off of it. You could buy it when it's $130,000 and sell it when it's $285,000, right? There's so many things that you could do. Not to mention, you could take out a home equity line of credit. You don't even have to sell your house, right? You can still maintain ownership of your property and take the equity. And you can watch my home equity line of credit video below, right? The link is below. And you can pull some money out, right? So that $285,000, where about $185,000 of it is my equity, it's my money. I can pull a good chunk of that out. They'll let me take 120, 140 of it out. And I still own the house, right? And then I could use this money for up to 10 years, right? Whenever I want, only get charged interest when I use it. And after 10 years, I got 5 years to pay them back. If I even use it. I don't even have to use it. It's just like a safety net, right? So instead of calling my cousin, instead of calling my grandmothers, my aunts, and my uncles, right? Instead of calling my family members, my friends, my best friend, instead of calling him for money, you know what I do? I call up my credit union that I have my home equity line of credit with. That's why you should get a house, man. There's just so many pluses of why you should get a house. And yeah, I know there's some cons. I'm not going to sit here and say that there isn't. But the pros outweigh the cons. No brainer. Get you a house. And if you don't know what you should look for, don't worry. I'm sharing everything that I've learned, right? Because if I knew what I knew now, I would have more houses than I have now, right? I would have more units than I have. But unfortunately, I had to go through the trials and tribulations to get the information that I got. And luckily for you, all you got to do is watch the video, apply. And like I said, if you got a question or two, don't hesitate. Pick up the phone. You got my number. If you don't got my number, find a way to get in contact with me. I will help you out. Buy a home today.